Hello, Uncle Stan. Stan Murphy, my uncle, doing a little interview about a couple things. Um, Now let's see. I had some questions from my sister Jackie. She wanted me to ask you.
Okay.
Okay, so first off, was my grandpa, your father, Orville Murphy? Were you guys mainly beef and cattle producers, or were you mainly some other type of farmer?
Well, it was a mixed livestock farm. We fed cattle. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't have cow calf herds, just fed cattle. We
Okay.
bought them as, and then fed them to get them to market.
Okay, but was the farm mainly a beef farm, or was it something, or did you do something?
It was what you'd call a grain mixed livestock farm.
Okay, and did you grow crops to sell, like corn or anything like that?
Well, we used most of the crops in feeding the livestock that we had.
Okay, and the livestock was mostly cattle, or was it all cattle?
No, we had hogs and chickens and and cattle, of course. That was it.
And was it roughly an equal number of chickens, cattle, and hogs?
Well, it was equal from one year to the next. We also had a small dairy herd.
Okay, so milk producing too.
Yeah.
Okay, and now my sister Jackie said that she looked at the census and saw that there was an Irish girl who lived with your family at one time. Do you remember an Irish girl living at your address with you guys back, or was there ever an Irish girl living there?
I don't know. There were a number of my mother had maids, and we had a number of them, but I do not recall any particular nationality.
Okay, so the maids would live at the house.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there was also a farmhand who lived. He had a separate house in the back. Was that true?
Yeah, he lived in the old house.
What was his name?
Well, we had several hired men over the years.
I think one was a pallbearer at your mother's funeral, right?
uh,
I thought I heard that.
I don't know.
Okay.
Uh,
So several hired hands. Would they live there with their families?
yes.
Okay. And you ever play with any of the kids of the hired hand when you were a kid, or?
I don't ever remember any of the hired men having any kids my age.
Okay. Okay. And now was your granduncle or great granduncle a surveyor of Carroll, like doing surveying?
No.
Jackie thought you had an uncle or granduncle who was a surveyor, no, for Carroll County or Carroll. Okay. And do you know if any of your ancestors who lived in Carroll, did any of them ever have problems with any Indians or anything, Indian tribes, anything like that?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. And do you remember your grandparents?
My grandparents? Oh
Mm-hmm.
yes. Yeah, I spent quite a bit of time up there.
And can you tell me a little bit about your grandparents? You know.
Well, they had a farm at Lorville, Iowa, which was about 30 miles away.
And this is the Murphys or the Berries?
Murphy's.
Okay. And what did you do when you went there?
What would I do there?
Mm-hmm. Just had fun with them, or?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I went there when I was a kid.
And what were they like? What was your grandfather Murphy and your grandmother Murphy like? I mean, what were their personalities? What were their names? What were their personalities like?
Well, I don't know how to describe that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I wonder maybe if they also farmers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And what about grandparents on your mother's side, Barry?
Well,
Oh, one of them passed away before when.
well, yeah, my mother's mother passed away when my mother was only about 10 or 12 years old.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
I think I remember hearing
Yeah,
about that.
so I never ever knew her, of course.
And what about her husband, your grandfather, Barry?
Yeah.
You met him?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Was he pretty nice? Or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And now, are there any other any other stories you've heard about your great grandparents or on the Murphy line or the Barry line? Anybody? I mean, even if you didn't meet them, did you hear stories about them that were interesting or any family history?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. You don't remember any of your great grandparents, right?
Great?
Or great?
No.
Okay. But and do you think they came over from Ireland probably in the 1800s, maybe, you think, or?
It would have had to have been fairly early in the 1800s.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were most of them in Carroll County for a long time?
Well, my grandfather's family came from Dixon, Illinois.
Oh, that's not terribly far from me. That's only an hour away. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Ronald Reagan lived there for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, okay. And they came from Dixon to Carroll?
Carroll County, yeah.
Okay, and that's where they bought that farm that you grew up on?
Yeah.
Now, that was your grandfather or your father?
It was my grandfather. It would be probably my great grandfather.
Your great grandfather moved from Dixon, Illinois to Carroll, Iowa.
Yeah.
And this is Murphy, right?
Right.
Wow, okay. And now
They moved in 1876.
From Dixon to Carroll?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, that would be a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And that was that same farm
Yeah.
that was in your family all the way until the 1950s, right?
Right.
And I might have told you this, but I went to that farm a year or two ago.
Yeah.
The owner is the son of the man who bought it from your father.
Yeah.
So your father sold it to a man, and his son is now the head of the farm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, David Steyert in Carroll. Steyert, yeah.
Yeah.
Steyert. Nice man. I have him as a Facebook friend online.
Oh.
Yeah, he's in his 70s. Real nice man. And let's see. So you were born in 1928, right? September 24th, right?
Right.
And were you and then you went to University of Iowa?
No, Iowa State.
Iowa State University.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where you met your future wife, Pat,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then later she became an administrator of dean of education at which university?
North Dakota State University.
Okay. And you had 3 sons, Kenton, Scott, and Kevin.
Right.
Who was the oldest?
Kevin.
Kenton's the oldest, and then Scott was the next one?
Right.
And then
Kevin. Right.
Okay. And what about let's see. And so then you moved here to Lemmon, you moved to Lemmon, South Dakota, 8 miles from here, from this ranch, in 1998, right?
Right.
When your wife retired.
Right.
And I'm sorry, what university did she work at again?
North Dakota State.
North Dakota State. Okay. And then you guys have been here ever since. Yeah. And you have this ranch here, and then 8 miles away in Lemmon, South Dakota you live, but this ranch is in North Dakota.
Right.
Yeah. And it's a good ranch for having quail, or not quail, but pheasant. And what are the other 2 birds that are?
Sharp-tails and Hungarian partridge.
Sharp-tail and Hungarian partridge. Wow. Okay, cool. And your wife, Pat, passed away in 2013, right?
Right.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think Jack, you'll like this. And so, okay, thank you, Uncle Stan.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, bye-bye.